How great is it to be on television today? It's a Monday. It's absolutely wonderful, and I thank you all. I hope everybody has a spectacular, spectacular morning going on a beautiful Monday morning where we had a lot to talk about over the weekend. I completely pissed off Alabama fans. Their coach made a punk move when nobody was there. I'll explain that. All right, let's go to last night, the last game of the year, and a couple of things that I got to get to with you. And you know my disdain for the media. No, it's more than disdain. It's complete hatred of the media because I think the media is a fraud. I think they're liars. I think they're just bad people. So anyway, and don't say that I'm in the media because I'm an entertainer. So stop it, stupid. All right, anyway, last night, Aaron Rodgers did Aaron Rodgers things. 29-37, 341 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And what made it even better, what made it actually great, was the fact that he did it against his rival, the Chicago Bears. Now, you got to understand something. I am a big fan of when guys talk, gals talk, and then they back it up. I am not a big fan of when people talk, athletes talk, guys and gals, and they don't back it up. When they're just talking to talk. That's why, look up Lily King and the Russians. She's the greatest athlete in the history of the United States Olympics, not named Jesse Owens, Mark Spitz, the swimmer Phelps. There's a lot of people. But anyway, look her up. You'll like it. She talked. She backed it up. This is what I like. So a couple of weeks ago, 6-7 weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers tells the entire city of Chicago, I own you. I own you, after he runs in for a touchdown. So what does that do? Of course, that puts a little heat on Aaron Rodgers in the rematch. And the rematch, you get me down, people. There will be no down in Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers just completely lights up and torches the Chicago Bears to the point where the Bears win 45-30. Another chapter in the continuing demise of the Chicago Bears. If the Chicago Bears were smart, let me help you out here. First thing you would do is hire Ryan Grigson as your general manager. That would be number one. Ryan Grigson, look it up. I know all the media guys don't like him, but the dude won, and this team, a team I love, by the way, needs somebody that's going to go ahead and get some wins. Don't need all the talk. Don't need anything else. We just need somebody that's going to go get some wins. And there was a lot of great plays last night. I mean, you had an interception return, you had a punt return, you had long passes, you had the Bears defense going about half-ass. There were some good things. But the truth of the matter is, the entire thing rested on Aaron Rodgers and his ability to just lead a team to whoop ass. I got Paul Kuharski today to talk about all things NFL. Let me see. Here's a note. 105 times, most played rivalry. Packers have won 20 out of 23 games. Wow. Maybe it's 21 out of 24. Whatever it is, it's either 20-3 or 21-3. Will Nagy be fired today? I can't imagine. It's not what the McCaskies do. I'll tell you who's not going to be fired. And I don't give a damn what y'all think about it. Urban Meyer's not going to be fired. Talked to him last week. Hey, all you got to do is this. Look up the great coaches in the NFL going back. They all started out 1-5, 2-6. Tom Landry, all these guys. Jimmy Johnson, 1-5. Somehow, Urban Meyer is on the wrong side of the media. And this was well before the incident in his bar up in Columbus. Somehow, due to jealousy and other things, I guess, Urban Meyer is on the wrong side. He's not going to be fired. I love the fact, I'm going to jump around here just for a second, because I'm seeing it right now on my television. I love the fact that Aaron Rodgers continues to give a big old FU to everybody that's upset with him about the whole, was he vaxxed, was he immunized, whatever. He's not doing press conferences with a mask on. He's doing them Zoom. To you, all of you that love the mask, I'm against you. Yeah, maybe it's safe. I don't know. I've read and everybody's got their opinion. All of a sudden, everybody got a degree in Google Science. But man, oh man, flying with a mask is a pain in my ass. I don't like it. I don't want it. We got to do it, so I do it. But damn, is that a pain in my backside? But good for Aaron Rodgers last night. And Aaron Rodgers, by the way, last thing. Aaron Rodgers is, and let's make no mistake about this, he is the MVP in the NFL. The Arizona Cardinals are 10-2, and I'm going to get into them about tonight. They're 10-2. They're playing great. They've won with Kyler Murray. They've won out without Kyler Murray. When Kyler Murray gets going, they're great. When Kyler Murray's out, Colt McCoy has shown himself to be a backup that every team in the NFL should want to have. So Aaron Rodgers, to me, now you take Aaron Rodgers off that team, I don't think they're very good. I don't. To me, anyway, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. But you got to understand something. The little blogger boys, they got, Rodgers lied to the big fat crumb-stained media guy sitting there talking about whether the pizza, the free pizza, by the way, in the media room is cold enough. Rodgers lied. He lied. Shut up. Who cares? Why does anybody care? He lied to us. Aaron Rodgers lied. He can't be MVP. Sure he can. I mean, I get it. Media has no integrity. But the truth of the matter is Aaron Rodgers is playing great. And Aaron Rodgers, man, that dude is a bad boy with an O-I. Boy. Man. And then there was a dude in the stands that looked just like him. So it's all good. It's good to be Aaron Rodgers. You stuck to your guns. It's great to be Aaron Rodgers, actually. You stuck to your guns. You did what you do, and away you go. All right, tonight's game. Do yourself a favor. Check out the injury report before you make any bets. You got to know who's playing tonight. And I'm including Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, everybody. I'm not going to go through the injury report because I find it dull. But check it out. Tonight's game is interesting because 10-2 is what the Cardinals are. That's 12 games. They've played 5 home games. They haven't been home in a month. Got off to a great start, had some home games, and now they're back home. The interesting thing tonight is going to be, are the Rams really going to come together? The Rams are the ones that made the moves, right? You got Von Miller coming in there. Everybody thinks everything's going to be great. You got Odell Beckham, the most overrated player in the history of the NFL. By the way, that catch that he made 100 years ago, you could make that catch. Just get the right gloves. Odell Beckham, my ass. Now, Von Miller could be very helpful, but will the chemistry come together? I don't know. You know, do you really need chemistry or just need guys out there balling their hearts out? I don't really know. But I do know this, the Rams have a ton of talent. And the Rams, with Stafford being great early, remember, Stafford was the guy everybody was talking about as MVP early, not late. And you know what we always say, and it played out this weekend on the golf course, big possums walk late, baby. A lot of 3 o'clock hitters, a lot of guys up there. Oh, man, look at that guy. Oh, man, look at that guy. Uh-huh. Game's at 7. Got to figure it out if you're the Rams. This is a big one. This is a really big one. I'll have some more information on this game as I go through my fades. Interesting yesterday. When you watch the NFL last night, the Bills were getting their ass beat 24-3 at halftime against Tom Brady. Now, you're playing against Tom Brady. You're down 24-3. You pretty much think this bad boy is over. The Bengals, down 17-6 at half. You pretty much think this bad boy is over. And, of course, the Ravens down 24-6 at half with Lamar Jackson out. Now, all 3 teams ended up losing. But I did think it to be fascinating that all 3 teams made a hell of a comeback, got it to overtime. Except for the Ravens. They didn't quite get it to overtime. But I did think that was a fascinating deal last night in the NFL. I thought the comeback, you don't necessarily always see that in the NFL. The clock runs. You know, in college, it stops after first downs, that kind of thing. But I liked it. I thought it was fascinating. I was in the airport last night, and all of a sudden, I get through security, and I look, and there it is, man. The Bills have come all the way back. I had Josh Allen, as I was watching that game earlier, I had Josh Allen dead and buried. I did. I'm not going to lie. I'd had enough of Josh Allen. I was saying to myself, Josh Allen, my ass. I didn't think he had I didn't think he was in. I thought he was done. All of a sudden, Josh Allen got balling. Isn't it amazing how the quarterback in the NFL is so different? You know, the Colts, my beloved Colts, went from out of the playoffs to a 6th seed because the Bengals couldn't get it done. Colts take on it Saturday night. It's going to be spectacular here in Indianapolis. Colts take on the Patriots. Both are coming off a bye week. It's going to be an interesting game, but that's how fast the playoffs moves. But good, very good. Good for all three of those teams making comebacks. Now, here's the deal. Let's talk about the Bills first. Bills are reeling. Now, I said Josh Allen, but really when you look at the Bills, what do they really have? I mean, everybody loved the Bills. Remember going in? They're the sexy pick. And you got to understand this about media. The media loves a pick, particularly in a town, that if they identify themselves with that town, they feel better about themselves. Like media will always say, well, I love the team in Buffalo. I love Springsteen. Media will always love Springsteen because they're all dorky little dweebs that think Springsteen makes them look cool. It doesn't. They're still dorky little dweebs. And they can attach themselves to Buffalo. I personally never attached myself to Buffalo because I said to myself, I don't know that they have enough weapons. I'm a big weapons guy. You got to have speed. That's why I think the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. They got speed, and more speed. I do. I think the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. In fact, I'm going today to DraftKings, and I'm going to place a bet on the Colts to win the Super Bowl. I haven't even looked at the number. I'll have it for you by the end of the day. But I'm watching these teams yesterday. I'm like, all right, Josh Allen's fine. But you know what happens? This is the Andrew Luck thing. A lot of people think Andrew Luck was great. Andrew Luck was horseshit. Andrew Luck would get his team down. Then Andrew Luck would have all these numbers like Josh Allen did yesterday. And all of a sudden, Josh Allen's over 300 yards. Good for him. Yay, Rod, go fight, win. But that's Andrew Luck. That's so Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, and then he would go, oh, I'm so stupid for throwing that pick six in the first half. And all the media would go, yeah, but you came back and really made it a good game. That's the indie media. Same thing with Josh Allen. Josh Allen has shown himself to be the guy that can come back after he screws the whole thing up, except against the Colts when they got frickin' body slammed. All right, let's go to the next game. The Bengals. The Bengals, to me, are a team that isn't ready to win. Now, you say to yourself, Dan, how do you know that? Well, because I coached teams that weren't ready to win. 26-23 was the final. Bengals moved to 7-6. Jimmy G gets another win. That's going to be interesting in San Francisco. Bengals are getting their brains beat out, right? All of a sudden, Joe Burrow does some really good stuff. Again, a lot of guys put up a lot of numbers when they're getting their ass kicked. Joe Burrow, 348? No running game by the Bengals, none whatsoever. They get the ball to start overtime. They kick a field goal, can't stop anybody, they get beat. See, when you're really good and you get a 3-point lead in football, particularly, obviously the NFL, you stop somebody. If you're just another team, you go down, you score, particularly at home. You go down and score, you're up 3 in overtime, next thing you know, you lose. They call it a jag, just another guy. And that's what the Bengals are. They're just another team. I think there's a lot of that in the AFC. But frankly, I think the Colts are different. I think the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl, or at least be the representative in the Super Bowl. I do. And that you can say that's you, Dakich, you're a homer. But anybody that pays attention to me on my radio show, Afternoons in Indianapolis, understands I'm anything but a homer. I get in trouble all the time because I rip ass on that radio show because, frankly, the Colts are a ridiculous operation at different times. So don't at me, people. Don't at me about me saying to you the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. Let me back up. The Colts are going to be the representative of the Super Bowl. The Ravens. All right, the Ravens are sitting here 8-5. Now, I want to like the Ravens. I've told you this before. I have an unhealthy love for Lamar Jackson. But while Lamar Jackson's out, and this kid, Tyler Huntley, continues to play well. 24-6. At one point, it was 24-3. Next thing you know, Tyler Huntley loses his mind and gets it done. You talk about a big win for somebody. Man, oh man, do the Browns need a big win. Why are the Browns good or why are the Browns better? I'll tell you why. They hired Ryan Grigson as a general manager. Or as assistant general manager, assistant to the general manager. Hire tough, smart football people and you are in business. All right, you ready for it? The Don't At Me Awards. I don't know if you saw this, and all 3 Don't At Me Awards are involving one game that you didn't pay attention to. I got to fix my jacket. It's, you know the story. You got to sit on it. And that's what I learned from college in Indiana. The Don't At Me Awards, the Damn Awards, they'll come out about once a month when there's something good. They all involve one game. And it's a game you never thought you'd watch. Houston taking on Alabama in basketball. College basketball. I don't know if you saw this. Bad goaltending call, good goaltending call, whatever. At the end of the game, Kelvin Sampson, his son Kellen, and his daughter, I don't even know what the hell, Lauren, and the entire bench go absolutely batshit crazy. I mean crazy. They chase after refs. Lauren's out there yelling. The whole family's nuts. Kellen, the son, starts throwing chairs, beating up, acting like he's acting like a Samson. Don't be fooled by Samson. I worked for him. The worst. Anyway, so they're not the bad guys in this scenario. I got no problem with coaches losing their minds after a game. I'm sorry. I don't. You all do. I don't. First award, the Punk Award. Coach Nate Oats of Alabama. See, here's the deal in coaching. The dumbest thing in coaching, or the dumbest thing is this, the handshake line after the games. It's insane, the handshake line. All right? Nobody wants to shake hands with anybody. Forget the handshake line. Get rid of the handshake line. But anyway, while Sampson, his daughter, his son, the whole frickin' crazy-ass crew are chasing down referees, kicking over trash cans, Nate Oats gets the Punk Award because why? Well, Nate Oats comes over and with nobody there puts his hand out like he's some victim. Nobody's there to shake his hand. He's just being a little D-bag. Now, Nate Oats is a terrific coach, but he's the guy that yells. He's got one of those Napoleon things. You know, he's going to yell at everybody. He's a tough guy. He ain't tough. None of these coaches are tough. But Oats stands there. There's a great picture on Twitter of Oats standing there with no one to shake hands with. All right? There's nobody there. And he's just acting like a douchebag. I'm sorry, he just is. And there are three things that I can't stand in this world. One, Frank Kaminsky backing down from an NBA fight and then getting on the air the next day on Dan Patrick and everywhere in the playoffs saying, well, the guy back down from has the same age. No, he's scared to death of Jimmy Butler. Scared to death. I don't like that. You got to defend your teammates. Number two, this happened with a little kid named Jordan Bohannon, who's like a 12th year senior at Iowa. Bitches, whines, and moans. He's in an argument in a bar, right? And he's videotaping the guy. He's arguing with the guy and videotaping. Complete D-bag move. So what does he do? He gets punched out. I'm not condoning violence. However, the coach that walks over, and we've seen this before, nobody's there to shake his hand, but he's acting like a little punk victim. Look, you can call me any names you want. You can call me whatever, but walk like a frickin' man. Defend your teammate. Don't videotape in bars. And don't act like a victim shaking hands with people. All right, the second damn award, Kelvin Sampson and his crazy-ass family. Now, Kellen, his son's a nice kid, but he's a self-important, petulant, entitled little guy. So Kellen Sampson, he busts up everything. Kellen Sampson doesn't have a tough bone in his body. But, he goes all, I'm going to break stuff. And then, of course, he does what you do. You apologize and you think everything's all right. And all the little Houston fans say, oh, good. Kellen Sampson, leader of men, my ass. So he puts in this thing, well, I'm a leader of men. I didn't show it. Shut up. You ain't a leader of nothing. I remember when he was sniffing around, doing the dumbest things possible at Indiana when the entire team was either pimps or freaking dope-smoking punks. Anyway. Except for Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon was a good dude. DJ White was a good dude. Lance Stemler, good dude. Anyway, I digress. But the whole Sampson family, I saw his daughter out there yelling, hey, daughter, stay over where you're supposed to be. Hey, son, stay over where you're supposed to be. Let the dad go out there like he's done for you little kids your whole life, and let the dad take care of it. You guys get the residual effect of daddy taking care of you all. But sit back, relax, and let daddy take care of it. Don't go breaking stuff. Don't go acting like a jackass. On the good side, and this is the good side, Jamal Sneed. See, every once in a while, the child has to teach the coach. while the Sampson family was acting like complete idiots. Jamal Sneed, there's a great video. After Sampson and the whole crew trashes the walkway to the locker room, you see Mr. Sneed, I'll call him Mr. Sneed out of respect. Jamal Sneed cleans it all up. And the worst thing about it was these idiot coaches. Now, you got to understand, when Sampson hires you as a coach, you're pretty much an idiot. And that included me. There's a reason. Like, he hired one of the biggest cheaters at Indiana, and Indiana said, no, you're a cheat, Sampson. We know you're on probation, but you can't hire another cheat. So they got rid of him. Then he hired a good guy in Jeff Meyer. Then he hired the rest were just punks. Cheats. Ridiculous. But anyway, so this kid, Sneed, he goes out and cleans up the mess. And the punk-ass assistant coaches and what's the other word? Administrative assistants, manager, they just look at the kid cleaning it up. They don't help him. Jamal Sneed, you the man. The rest of your staff, you suck. I don't care if you made a Final Four. I don't give a damn what you did. The most damning video was not a coach losing his mind. The two most damning videos were one coach putting his hand out, acting like a little you-know-what, and then the other coach is walking by as one of their players cleaned the entire mess up. If anything said Kelvin Sampson, that was it. The phoniest, most ridiculous scene we've seen on the court in a long time had to be cleaned up by one of the players. As other coaches looked around. As the son of Sampson, I'm sure, sat in the locker room acting like a badass, that he completely is. College basketball, little coaches gone wild this weekend, and I love it. All right, we come back. Simone Biles wins the Time Magazine Athlete of the Year. Marvin Jones, Marvin, you are a friend of mine. I love it. And I got something to say about MSNBC. Hey, hope everybody's having a great Monday. Man, get a look at those three videos. The coach with his hand out, little Kellen going mad because, I got to act like I'm mad. And then the player Sneed picking it all up. Glorious. We shall return. Stay right here. You know, we all have to be very careful, right, with what we say. We all have to tiptoe. Look, I've been very vocal about mental health issues. I'm on Lexapro. Why am I on Lexapro? I call it my crazy meds. If that seems insensitive, tough. That's what I call my medicine. And if you don't like it, I can't help you. I've been a big proponent of mental health issues in the city of Indianapolis as I dealt with my own. I dealt with real depression where when I was coaching, as my father told me, if you ever lose as a coach, you will die. It will kill you, and it almost did. So I get a kick out of everybody, people telling me how competitive this guy or that guy is. I go, yeah. No, losing almost killed me to the point where I had to sleep on the floor. I couldn't sleep on a couch. I couldn't sleep on a bed. I had to sleep on the floor. So, long story. So I'm very sympathetic to the plight of Simone Biles, but making her the athlete of the year at Time Magazine is ridiculous. She got the yips, the twisties, her words, not mine. We could celebrate a lot of people that performed. If you want to make her the person of the year for standing up for mental health, then great. But I think it's time that we get we start giving credit where credit is due to people that actually participated. In no world is Simone Biles the athlete of the year. Person of the year, courageous person of the year, if that's what you want to make it, great. But let's be honest here. Simone Biles as the athlete of the year is just pandering. And I want to say nobody, and I mean nobody, benefits from pandering. Nobody. I mean, let's be honest. Who does? Who benefits from pandering? Who benefits from giving people fake awards? Who benefits? I mean, does all of a sudden everybody go, well, mental health is going to be cured? No. People that deserved it went out there and competed, that went out there and got things done on the field where athletes do perform, did not get their due. Now, look, I'm not all upset about it. It doesn't matter to me, but the world that we live in is ridiculous. Simone Biles is a wonderful person. She made her decision. She took the blame. She took the acclaim. But in terms of being an athlete, please, don't embarrass us. Don't make us all look like we're just some slaps that are going along with the company line. She had the twisties, I guess is what you call it, which is like the yips in golf. Fine. No dishonor in that. Everybody gets it. She's got mental health issues. I do too. I'll walk right around and tell anybody. I cannot tell you the amount of people that when they heard my story about it, they go, really? What are you doing? I told them. They go, well, thank you. I'm a big proponent. Colts aren't smart enough to use me in their campaigns, but that's fine. But the Colts, I admire them. The Colts are putting out all the time. Change the stigma, erase the stigma. The stigma of mental health is real. The stigma of mental health is something that I don't give a rat's ass whether somebody puts me on a stigma, whether somebody makes fun of me, whether whatever. My life is my life, and Lexapro's a part of it every freaking day because it helps me. You take it good. You don't take it good. Generally, everybody that you see on your television coaching or playing golf is on Lexapro. Damn near everybody you saw in the Olympics is on Lexapro or some form of Lexapro. The stigma ought to be if you don't have mental health issues. I mean, how the hell are you getting through this world if you have mental health issues? But it doesn't make me broadcaster of the year because I've got mental health issues. It doesn't even make me close. You know, the good broadcasters, the Collingsworths of the world, those are the people. Hell, and I'm sure Simone Biles in a weird way deep down feels the same way. Here's the world we live in. You ready? This is the greatest. This is one of my favorite things that I've seen. Now, Urban Meyer is under attack from everybody. I get it. We all get under attack. Middle-aged white guy, you're going to be under attack. Every little white media guy that wears skinny jeans, has a little beard, is going to tell a little middle-aged white guy we're a boomer, blah, 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 particularly if you're successful like Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer gets in an argument with a guy named Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is a wide receiver that played on some of the worst teams in the NFL. It's nothing like, this isn't Jerry Rice. This is Marvin frickin' Jones, a guy who's probably lost more games as an NFL player than anybody ever. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I know he played on the Lions, and I know he played on the Bengals, and I know he didn't elevate them. So Urban Meyer is going off on everybody. And again, if you look at the great coaches of the NFL, about 90% of them started out 1-15, 2-4, whatever. Peyton Manning, 3-13 for crying out loud. Urban Meyer's already doubled the win total. You don't like what he did in the bar? God bless you. I mean, everybody's judging everybody, so it's fine. But Marvin Jones gets yelled at by his coach. Apparently, Urban went into the wide receivers room, and he let Marvin have it. I'm sure it was about effort or not running a route right, something, oh my God, so important. And Marvin Jones storms out of the building. Now, this is a guy that's never won nothing. And you wonder, why in the hell has he never won nothing? Well, if you did actually wonder that, there's your answer. So Marvin Jones storms out of the building, and some guy on the staff talks him into coming back. Bad move. Once a guy storms out of the building, coming back never works. And whoever went and got the guy should be fired. Do you remember the story, Bob Knight choking Neil Reed? Do you remember this story? Well, we made the mistake. Neil Reed got yelled at. He stormed out of the building about a month or 6 months before that, whatever. I didn't go after him. I'm like, good, get his ass out of there, but I'm a former player. Assistants went, got him, brought him back, all that happy horse bleep. Next thing you know, Neil Reed's the victim. And he was a victim. Don't ever bring anybody back. They're so sensitive, they're so fragile that they're going to walk out of the building because the coach yells at them, adios, here's the deal, you're not winning with them anyway. You're just not. Period. All right, fast forward. So Marvin Jones does this, and this is the world you all live in. This is not the world that I live in. I refuse to live in this world. I refuse to participate in this type of world, all right? Marvin Jones is viewed as a hero. Marvin Jones is viewed as a guy, I don't know, that we're all supposed to say, good for Marvin Jones. That's the world we live in. That's the world of the Louis Riddicks of the world. And by the way, what in the hell is going on at ESPN? Now, Louis Riddick, you got to understand. I know this. Louis Riddick never got promotions. Louis Riddick didn't do jack squat when he was inside of the NFL working as a GM. All of a sudden, Louis Riddick, it's so funny, goes and becomes a media guy, and now everybody wants Louis Riddick as their general manager. Swear to God, when Louis Riddick was in Philadelphia, it came down to Louis Riddick and Ryan Grigson to see who was going to be elevated. Louis Riddick, Ryan Grigson elevated. Louis Riddick, nobody, and I mean nobody, in the NFL was ever going to hire Louis Riddick as a general manager. Now all you guys want is Louis Riddick. I want Louis Riddick. We need Louis Riddick. All of a sudden, Louis Riddick, because he went into the NFL, is a freaking, you got to have him in Chicago. You got to have him. Oh, my God, we got to have him. All of a sudden, Louis Riddick. So Louis Riddick, if I did this at ESPN, I would have been called in front of 15 different people. Louis Riddick talking about Urban Meyer. Now, understand, you may not like Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer won 3 national championships. Urban Meyer's players revere him. This is Louis Riddick, a washout as a general manager. When he was now think about this, when he was actually in the NFL, not one person thought to hire him as a general manager. Now you can blame, I know what's happening. Oh, race, no, it wasn't race. I know people that worked with him. No, all of a sudden he's in the media, and we're all supposed to genuflect. This is what this guy said. When people out you for being a terrible leader, he's talking about Urban Meyer, 3 national championships, a finger pointer, or for trying to make them feel less than. It isn't a leak. It should be a wake-up call. You just learned why Louis Riddick never got a job. He wants people to leak in his organization. He's worried about people that are so weak-minded that they run to the media and out the coach. Look, there isn't a team in the world that's won because of that. And make no mistake, and Louis Riddick, I know what he's trying to do. Can you imagine you're calling Monday Night Football and you call one of the head coaches in the NFL a terrible leader? Louis Riddick can get away with it. A guy like me can't. I saw this and I just started laughing. All of a sudden, Louis Riddick is believing his own bullshit. Like he actually has an opinion that matters. When he was inside the NFL, not one person thought to hire him, ever. He couldn't get a promotion. Ended up leaving. Does a nice job on TV. Terrible on Monday Night Football. Can't see the game. Makes so many mistakes about what happened. But this guy here, This guy here is calling a 3-time national champion coach a terrible leader because all he's done in his first year at Jacksonville is double the win total. God bless you, Louis Riddick. The other little goof is that little shaver, Adam Schefter. The little shaver's out. I love when guys that wear jock straps on their head, like Adam Schefter, call out real athletes. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Hey, Shefty, I got something for you. So little Adam Schefter goes out, and he kind of makes fun of the Chicago Bears. He says, with Sunday night's performance, Aaron Rodgers now has acquired an even greater share of the Chicago Bears, per sources. I love when guys that wear jock straps on their heads make fun of real athletes like guys that play on the Bears. It's the best. We're going to get Shefty running a 40. We're going to get Shefty catching a football. Man, I'm just telling you. I would have had Lee Fitting, Norby Williamson. Man, I put something on Twitter to a good friend of mine, and I had him calling me. Oh, my God, Dakich. Oh, God. Dakich, you got to get that off Twitter. I said, it's a good friend of mine. We're just messing around. Oh, God. We got little Shefty. Hi, Shefty. We got little Shefty angry, talking shit to real athletes. Ridiculous. MSNBC primetime, every one of their hosts failed to report the Juicy Smollett verdict. Now, only understand the Juicy Smollett verdict is and was the number one story. You've got another fake hoax. You've got another fake hoax. I mean, in a string of fake hoax, every time somebody fell down, it was a Trump guy that attacked him, and most of them, if not all of them, proved to be wrong. Oh, my God, Trump guy did this. Hell, LeBron James participated in it. LeBron James did the John Thompson. John Thompson is funny. John Thompson's name is going on the court. People don't know this. At Georgetown, John Thompson was going to get fired. John Thompson sprayed racial slurs on the court and pressured Georgetown into keeping him. His son tried to do that years later, John Thompson III, at Ball State. Ball State said, yeah, bullshit. True story. So anyway, this isn't, racial hoax have been going on forever. But Juicy Smollett's racial hoax is number one. The number one story. And MSNBC, not one of their anchors even mentioned it. Why? Because he was guilty. Why? Because it was bullshit. Why? Because it was a hoax. Why? Because they're so on one side. I just don't get the whole one side thing. Whether it's Fox, MSNBC, I don't get it. I don't get being on one side or the other. We're all Americans. Black, white, Democrat, who cares? Sport guy, non-sport guy, we're all Americans. We're on the same side. What the hell are we doing? World's crazy. We got little Shefty, angry, or making fun of real athletes. We got Louis Riddick, all of a sudden, couldn't get a job when he was in the thing. Now, all of a sudden, he's a genius, calling Urban Meyer a terrible leader. The world is nuts. And then we got MSNBC so whacked out that they can't even report. Hey, I don't care if you do a big deal on it, but it was the biggest story. I don't think either side should go wacko on it. It's just a dumbass Hollywood guy doing dumbass things. Raise your hand if you haven't seen that before. But damn. People call me a basketball guy. Oh, you're a basketball guy. What do you know about football? Well, I know a lot about everything. I'm a freaking genius here. So just sit back, relax, and let me wash over you. But I got to tell you, moving into the world that I'm moving into of college basketball right now, who is this idiot on my Twitter page? Anyway, moving into the world that I'm moving into, I'm going to give you my top five. I think tomorrow I'll give you my Big Ten basketball index. It used to drive all you Sparty fans nuts. My college basketball top five. It's very fluid right now. Purdue got to be number one. They won't be number one today. Purdue won't be number one today because they went to Rutgers, and a kid, I love it, Ron Harper Jr., knocked himself in, not a half-court shot, but the deal, knocked in a tough shot. And they ended up rushing the court, And next thing you know, boom. Number one goes down. All right, here's the deal. The top 5 teams in the country, I'm going with number 5 first. Number 5 is UCLA. UCLA lost a game to Gonzaga, whatever. College basketball hasn't seen an undefeated team since 1976. I keep telling you this. Problem with UCLA is they're putting a new center in there, Miles Johnson. Problem with UCLA is that it was a good feeling story, but they had the summer to hear how good they are. And next thing you know, you struggle a little bit. Now, they've lost one game. They're fine. I like UCLA, and I like their team, and I'm a big Jaime Hawkins fan. Number 4, Purdue. Yeah, I know Purdue lost. Yeah, I know Purdue yesterday struggled to come back against a North Carolina State team that was hepped up to play at home. One thing people don't understand, in college basketball, how difficult it is to play on the road. Like, I never coached or played college football, but college basketball, man, you get on a court and all of a sudden that court seems this big on the road. All of a sudden, guys that you thought were little are huge when they play on their home court. It's unbelievable. So Purdue lost on a last-second shot at a hepped-up rack. Rutgers supposed to have a good team, didn't have their best player, Geo Baker, so it's a bad loss. Don't get me wrong, particularly if you're the number 1 team. But remember this name, and this is pretty cool, a lot like Jamal Sneed. Trayvon Williams. Trayvon Williams came to Purdue from Detroit, was not recruited by Michigan State, was not recruited by Michigan because he was 6'10", about 400 pounds. He was big. 400 might be too many, but he was really big, like 350 big. You know, I remember watching him as a freshman, and he couldn't jump, couldn't dunk hardly. Well, Purdue does a great job with bigs. They got this kid in shape. He is among the best passing, if not the best passing big men in the country when he doesn't try to be cute and do all that. But here's what makes Trayvon Williams my favorite player in college basketball. Trayvon Williams plays 20 minutes a game. And as we sit here right now, Trayvon Williams is the Big Ten's most valuable player, the most outstanding player in the Big Ten. Now, there's a lot of good players in the Big Ten. You'll learn the name Kofi Cockburn, Trace Jackson Davis, E.J. Liddell, Jaden Ivey on his own team. There's really good ones. But this kid is an inspiration. This kid is absolutely the guy that every coach wants on his team. Salute Trayvon Williams. And in fact, yesterday, Trayvon Williams said, no, we ain't losing to North Carolina State. He put him on their back in the second half, did what he does, and Purdue won. I'm a big Trayvon Williams fan. Number 3, Gonzaga. Now, Gonzaga may be the most talented team in the country. I mean, they got big, they got guard, they got Chet Holmgren, this freshman kid. They're really good. All right? They're really good. But you know what? They lost a game, so we're all supposed to lose our mind. I got no problem with Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga is good. I know that once a guy gets in trouble because like Mark Few this summer, you know, every fan's going to be on their ass because, of course, all you fans out there that sit around hunt and peck on Twitter all day never got in any trouble. And the first thing you want to do is call somebody else out. But I digress. Duke. Those Dukes can be booze. Look, the Coach K Love Me tour is going swimmingly. I don't even know what that means. Can somebody look that up and send me a text? Or can somebody look that up and send me, what does going swimmingly means? It's like hand over fist. We're making money hand over fist. I don't know what the hell it means. I don't know. But I do know this. I do know that Duke basketball is having a hell of a year. And I know that, I say this all the time, what Mike Krzyzewski is doing is not easy. But I'll also say this. You saw what happens when teams go on the road. One of the reasons that I'm not all 100% in on Mike Krzyzewski is I think Mike Krzyzewski, frankly, kind of used the system. Mike Krzyzewski, you know, he doesn't play on the road unless it's a Big Ten ACC champ or a game. He plays in neutral sites. I don't know. He uses money manager. I don't know what he does, actually, but I know everybody moves to Durham. Their daddies and mommies move, and, you know, I don't know. I remember Jay Williams telling me about the luxury car. I just don't like it. I mean, I'm in the family, but I just don't like it. Duke's last time out, Ohio State beat them. Duke is still a rush to court team. What does that mean? Hey, you rush to court. Look at this. First road game that Duke played all year. Now, they played a couple neutral sites, and it's the only road game Duke's going to play. Hell, you give me my Bowling Green teams. You let me play 10 home games in the non-conference season, I'm in the Hall of Fame. We were lucky to have 3. 2, and then maybe, just maybe, a Division III team before Christmas. This guy here, you give me Duke's schedule? Shoot. I don't know if I'll be on the first ballot of the Hall of Fame, but I'll be a second ballot Hall of Famer with all this. ACC stinks. Duke, I like their team. I do. I don't always like Duke's team. You know, Dickie V and everybody likes their team better. Banchero, you're at Duke. You might as well just play. You don't worry about academics, apparently. You don't worry about discipline. You just play. He's a nice player. Moore, I think, is a terrific player. Keels is very good. I like Duke's team. Duke's second-ranked team in the country. Number one ranked team in the country, and frankly, it may not be close, is the Baylor Bears. Everybody expected the Baylor Bears to go down. Baylor Bears? What the hell? Did you see? Did anybody happen to watch yesterday? Now, I know it's tough. It's very tough on a football Sunday. Baylor held Villanova. Now, listen to this. Villanova is the 6th-ranked team in the country. Scored 15 points in the first half. Baylor wins 57-36. Holy hell. Baylor's 9-0. Baylor might go undefeated. Be tough at Kansas. But Baylor is damn good. Now, look, I know that people initially did not like Scott Drew, and that's fine. But all Scott Drew did was retool his lineup. Get a bunch of guys in there like Mayer, who didn't play much last year. Brought in Okino, who's quit every school that he's been at. And, I mean, all they did, their backcourt got 26 of the 57, and away they went. Baylor just plays defense, seems to have fun doing it. Salute Scott Drew. The Baylor Bears, if you'd have told me 10 years ago, that Baylor would win a national championship, then come back the next year after losing pros and be number one in the country, I said, I don't think so, man. Where's North Carolina? Last thing in college basketball, Indiana fans, you'll get this. Ready? There's no way in hell John Calipari is going back to Notre Dame and South Bend. It's legendary around our state, the watch shot. John Calipari's team, Kentucky, came into Indiana. Indiana beat them on a last-second shot by Christian Wofford. John Calipari, some girl claimed that she got her ankle twisted in the crowd. Calipari actually told me, he said, oh, it was dangerous. I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh, really? Never coming back to Bloomington again? Oh, okay. I guarantee you never going back to Notre Dame. And, of course, the obligatory John Calipari praying at the grotto had to be posted. The world is a beautiful place. All right, we're going to come back. I've got the great Paul Kuhar. I got to get into some NFL talk. Too much angst. If you want to tweet me, at Dan Dakich. Don't at me, though. I've had enough of you Alabama fans. Your coach made a punk move. All right, no problem. We move on. All right, we're going to come back. The great Paul Kuharski. We're going to talk a ton of NFL. Stay right here. Tell your friends. I need to get this up to 1,000 viewers at any one time. Let's go. Turn every device that you have on and put it at Outkick. Let's fool them. We'll do like Coach K. We'll just trick them. We'll be back. All right, when legends come on, we got to get right to it. And Paul Kaharski, you hear him on Outkick 360, 3 to 6 Eastern time right here. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't listen. I listen every stinking day because it's really good. Paulie, first, thanks for joining. I want to get right to it. Who do you like in the AFC?
Which feels weird to say, but if you're forcing me right now, I'm going to take the Patriots, which is a little chalky. By the way, I appreciate the introduction, but I've heard you introduce other people now, and I now realize it's completely part of your shtick, and that everybody that's introduced is the greatest. Yeah. So it doesn't feel – I don't feel that important.
No, you shouldn't. But, yeah, I know. It's kind of my thing. You're the greatest. I'm hyperbolic, very much so.
Yeah, I think the Patriots right now, I mean, they had a week off. Late bye teams have done very well in the last several years. They're not exceptionally dynamic by any means. I think some of the better teams here are defensive teams that manage things on offense. I saw them a couple weeks ago. I was up in New England for Titans Patriots. They certainly did that to the Titans. I'm curious to see what they do. It's in Indy, right, this coming weekend. That's a big one. I really like the Chargers, but I don't know how far they can go with run defense problems. And every time you like somebody in the AFC, they then lose the subsequent weekend. So, I like that it's not really sorted out that much. But if you're looking for steady right now, the Patriots are the team.
Yeah, ask you about my Colts. Where you at with them?
Well, you've convinced me that Reich is a huge problem. I don't understand how you don't give the ball to Jonathan Taylor more frequently. I obviously am closest to the Titans of any team, and they certainly know how to hand the ball to a running back, a top running back. Derrick Henry out now, but they don't hesitate to give it to him when he's healthy. So I don't know how Reich doesn't look at the Titans and kind of see the model. Then you hear that Quentin Nelson had to ask Reich, hey, call some straight up runs here, no RPOs, nothing fancy, and watch us work. And then Reich, I think, said, thanks for the advice. Yeah, well, when your guard has to tell your coach what to call, that's a little disconcerting. So I'm not a big believer in Wentz. I'm not a big believer in Reich. I do think they're talented and they're playing well. And I think these playoffs, as much more than any recently, is about who's hot coming in, and they could be one of the hotter teams. I don't like the expanded playoff field, much the way I don't like the expanded playoff field in baseball, because I think it's too much about who's hot coming in instead of about who's been best over 16 or 17 or 18 weeks. And I'd like it to ultimately reward the team that's been the best as opposed to the team that happens to be the hottest in late December, early January. But that's increasingly what it becomes.
What do you like in the NFC?
NFC, it's hard not to like Green Bay, particularly if they get themselves some home field advantage, though I do believe in Arizona. I think when you're a team that can survive, and what did they win? 2 out of 3, not just without their quarterback, but without their ace receiver. So when Murray and Hopkins are out for a couple of games, and you manage to win 2 out of 3, I mean, that's a well-built team. You always say about your backup quarterback, can you win a couple if he's forced to start? And they did that. That's an impressive build. I enjoyed what Peter King wrote in his column this morning about Keim, the GM there, who said, I knew if this teardown stuff I did where I fired Wilkes in a year and I abandoned Rose in a year didn't work, I'd have trouble getting hired as a middle school coach. But, he kind of took the tack that, you usually regret not doing something sooner rather than not doing it, rather than the other way around. And it's worked out for them. That's a good football team. So it's clearer in the NFC that there are three premier teams, and then maybe Dallas, who's been a lot shakier than it should be. But if I'm picking right now, it's hard to go against Aaron Rodgers, and I'm surprised he's not being mentioned more in the MVP conversation. People seem to be gravitating to Brady, who certainly has a worthy candidacy, but I'd say so does Aaron Rodgers.
Let me ask you, what are you going to see tonight? I mean, the Rams need to get going here. The Cardinals playing great. What are we going to see tonight? What are your thoughts?
Rams really need to wake up and get going. I don't really understand how they've come so far off the rails. Again, I was at the game that I think started their downturn when the Titans won out there 5-6 weeks ago, maybe longer than that. And I think Robert Woods was more instrumental in what was going on there than a lot of us realized, in terms of, he's not just running routes, but blocking, doing stuff out of the backfield, and kind of a glue guy. And he tore his ACL, I think, right after, the day after the Odell Beckham Jr. trade. And that's certainly not a one-for-one exchange there. They should be better than they are. And this is a go for it team that, was going to be the new model for what should go on in the NFL and how people should give up their draft picks to go get veterans, the way they've done with, not just recently with Mac but with Ramsey and the big names. It's not going so well for them now. And, I feel like they're playing for a wild card either way, but they need to come back to life tonight. And with their backs against the wall, this game meaning so much more to them, I won't be surprised if they pull it out tonight. Stafford's got to get back on track. And I would think McVay's smart enough to give him a game plan that does that and gets him on course. So I'll be watching eagerly tonight.
All right, big boy, you're right there. You know more about the Tennessee Titans than anybody in the history of the world. Hyperbola. Where are they at? Nice win yesterday. Got it done. Workmanlike. Where are they at? Even though Derrick Henry, is he coming back for the playoffs like I read
these
last
national
night?
Guys. These Sunday morning stories from national guys are the funniest thing in the world, where they either pronounce things that everybody already knows or try to pretend that they know stuff that nobody knows. No, we don't know if Derrick Henry's going to be back or not. And then they fail to mention, as they report, that Derrick Henry will be back for the playoffs, that the guys, if he's back for week 18 or for a playoff game, he's a big guy like that with surgery to repair the outside of his foot, where there's not good blood flow. And it's usually a slight wide receiver who's having this surgery, not a 250-pound running back. Dan, if he takes 28 carries and runs for 155 and 3 touchdowns like we're used to, I'd be incredibly surprised. So I think it's as much about that as to whether we see him or not. And if I'm Derrick Henry, and if I'm Derrick Henry's agent, as eager as I am to play, I'm not messing with that when I've got, months and months of guaranteed recovery time ahead of me. I think it's time to come to terms with who the Titans are now. They beat the Jags, a terrible team, finally yesterday after losing to the Jets and Houston by letting the Jaguars do what they do, which is suck. Trevor Lawrence threw 4 picks. They had receivers running into each other and falling down. They had Trevor Lawrence, dropping back and seeing he was in trouble and then dropping back again and giving up a 20-yard sack. Titans are a defensive football team now that could still run the ball. Nobody's honoring their pass game. They're still running into heavy boxes. They found a little bit of a run game with Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard. But their defensive football team has to sack the quarterback, meld the pressure and the coverages, and just be okay on offense. Even with Julio Jones back yesterday, caught 4 passes, nothing super, super dangerous. And if they're going to go anywhere, that's going to be the formula. We can't keep sitting and waiting and say, oh, when A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are back on the field together, they're going to turn into this big explosive offense. Maybe they get a little bit better, but the guys who are going to carry this team are Jeffrey Simmons and Danico Autry and Harold Landry. And by the way, about your boy Urban Meyer, I don't know if you're still in the business of defending him, but I know you're probably big on people looking each other in the eye for a handshake at the end of a game. And this guy didn't have the stones to look Mike Vrabel in the eye and shake his hand at the end of the game. So next time you talk to him, tell him, people are watching. Act like a man.
I love when media guys tell guys to act like a man. That's my favorite thing. Act like a man. Yeah, act like a man, because you just get your ass beat and the handshake determines whether you're a man or not. Yeah, that's like guys saying you're soft-based.
I don't know. I've got a 12-year-old son.
Urban Meyer's a man. I mean, Urban Meyer has proven himself to be a pretty good leader, a pretty good coach, and a man over the course of a lot of teams. He and Vrabel don't like each other.
He's a pretty good leader. That's why one of his best receivers is outside, has to be coaxed back into the facility, and that's why people are leaking stuff from his thing.
I know, and you know what? I looked up old Marvin Jones. The world we live in makes Marvin Jones a hero. Hey, I got yelled at. I'm going to sulk. I'm going to leave the building. Oh, no, please come back. Look up Marvin Jones. Urban ain't wrong, man. When you're trying to change a culture, you got a lot of dudes that have never won nothing. There's a reason dudes have never won nothing. I know we always want to blame it on the coach or the assistant or the owner. The owner in Cincinnati's terrible. All right. I don't know. Marvin Jones has had I've experienced that. You never bring the guy back.
Marvin Jones has had.
You tell him that you want to leave. It happened with Neil Reed at Indiana. You never bring him back, Paul.
Then why'd your guy
Marvin Jones?
Why'd your guy bring him back? Why'd your guy bring him back? Then Marvin Jones has had monumentally more success in the NFL than Urban Meyer. And if you think I'm being soft, I got a 12-year-old kid. You've got grown kids. I bet you told them when they shake somebody's hand to look them in the damn eye.
Yeah. I know it, man. When media guy tells the old football coach to look him in the eye, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, because football coaches every day go into meeting rooms and challenge 6'5", 290-pound guys. We so worry about the handshake.
I'm not a media guy. I'm a human being.
Handshake determines your manliness.
I'm a human being.
Why'd they bring him back? They brought him back because the guy that brought him back should be fired. Don't bring him back. Let him go.
The guy that should be fired is Urban Meyer. He should go back to his fiefdom where he could run everything and everything will go just like he likes. Look at him on the sideline. He's got wide receivers.
I guess he's the only guy in football that's doubled the team's win total and should be fired. They won one game.
He's got two guys running into each other. I mean, what's he doing?
I don't know. He can't coach. I mean, 3 national championships. He can't coach. Because media in the NFL says he can't coach. Damn right, he can't coach.
I judge coaches by progress.
And the team he took over lost not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 straight games they lost. But he's supposed to come in. You know what Jimmy Johnson's record was when he started? 1-15. Come on.
I'm looking at him with the greatest quarterback in history to come into the league who's throwing 4 picks and looks like crap. Where's the improvement? He's allowed to get better. He's allowed to get better.
Just maybe, Paulie, there's a saying in coaching, who ranks the rankers? Last greatest quarterback in the history of football was Andrew Luck.
Who was great.
Last greatest quarterback. We always got the greatest quarterback in football coming in every 2 years. The next one is Quinn Ewers. He's the next great one. Bryce, everybody's the next great one. And you know who ends up being great? Guys like Kyler Murray that are just really good playmakers. I'll defend him, but I know this. The owner loves him. Players seem to like him. When you get behind all the BS of the media, it's all good.
You are the world's #1 Urban Meyer apologist, and all of this is framed by the fact that you're his buddy. So you've got the least credibility talking about Urban Meyer than anybody. You're bemoaning the media. The reason you're covering for him is because he's your buddy. He's your buddy. Well, if he's my buddy, I recuse myself from the conversation.
That's easy media way. I have the most credibility because I don't have a hard-on.
Well, you do have a hard-on for
I just sit there and watch. Hey, look, Paulie, I'm not going to lie to you. First practice I ever went to, I thought, damn, this guy really coached. First weight workout, damn. I called Indiana. He's not my buddy. I talk to him once in a while.
Do golf with him?
I just know this. In the history of NFL, great coaches, generally, particularly historically, start out awful. Great quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, 3-13. I get it. Guys get mad. He's had too much success. It makes people in the NFL nuts. I get all that. But actually, I got the most credibility because I got no dog in the fight.
Well, you do have a dog in the fight.
If I was going to talk bad about Urban Meyer, I wouldn't say anything. But when I watch a guy take over a team that is historically awful, coming off 1-16, had no nutrition, had no weight thing, and he cleans it out, it's going to be growing pains. I've seen it my whole life. Look, the story will be told in the next couple of years. I get it. All you guys can't wait to jump on his ass and say he's horrible. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know. He makes you feel bad. I don't know. All I know is this. I'm the only guy credible to talk about this because everybody else is using fifth-person reports. That's all I got. I don't know what to tell you.
You'll get the last word. But when I see a coach taking over an NFL team, here's what I look for. Him to work his ass off. And here's what Urban Meyer did. He stayed home to go to a bar to have a young lady rub on him while his team went home to work. Okay. That's not working hard, Dan. That's not working hard. And your credibility is not high on this guy.
I get it.
You're
right.
his buddy.
I mean, Paul, I get it. But there is nobody in the history of football that has ever said Urban Meyer don't work hard.
Wasn't working hard that weekend.
Pissed all the media guys off. His owner was cool with it. His general manager was cool with it. I don't know what to tell you. I get it, media guy not cool with it. And when you lose, guess what media guy does? Media guy throws it back. We all know that as coaches. Media guy's got that list. Oh, he doesn't work hard because he spent one night out of 1,000 in a bar. Oh, my God, guy ran into each other. All right. Every guy that coaches, Paul, understands that media list 7 weeks ago. But, of course, the media guys have never done nothing wrong. Of course, the media guys are perfect angels, human beings. I get it. We all get it. Look, the bottom line, Paul, is it is going to be decided over the next couple of years. You come into a garbage franchise that's behind the times. If he gets it done, it'll be great. If he doesn't, he'll be out. It's that simple. I don't understand the personal attacks on the guys. Like everybody hates a guy because he's too successful.
He's not being very successful right now. Also, on your media guy shtick, and you, Stephanie, Lauren, you should cut this as a promo. On Dan's media guy shtick, I have a news flash. Outkick is a division of Fox, and Dan works for Outkick. He's a media guy.
I know you think that, and that's cool because you've always wore the media tag and worried about the spread in the press box. Me? Nuh-uh. I gave up my media passes. I'm an entertainer. I entertain every day, 5 hours a day, and it's absolutely glorious. I don't ever wear a media pass. I don't have a media pass. Yeah, I work for Fox, but a lot of entertainers work for Fox. A lot of us, you ever see, like, when you see a movie, you see that Fox? I'm an entertainer, Paulie. If you sit with me for a little bit, you're going to be entertained. I don't sit there and read, media guy comes up with bad takes, and then his buddies go, oh, what a great long-form interview. Nah, I don't do that. I just tell you, based on experience, what's going to happen, what happened, why it happened, unbiased, and I entertain while I'm doing it. Let's go to hot takes. You ready?
Yeah, very good.
I like this. The Raiders' pregame speech on the field at the Chiefs impacted the game.
This is such nonsense. The Titans have gotten in quote-unquote trouble for this. Every game they go to the midfield logo and have a little hype session. It's grass. It's painted grass. If this fires you up, you have motivational problems.
Right. All right. I just read an article by you media guys that said it was a big deal. I'm like, no, it's
don't
not.
Group
Stop.
us all together. Don't group us all together.
Paulie, the Denver Broncos are a legit sleeper in the AFC.
I don't buy it. There are too many teams bunched up there. They've got a very nice defense, but ultimately you're going to need some offensive firepower. This is the same doubts I have about the Titans, frankly. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't do it for me. I like the Chargers a lot better. I like the Chiefs a lot better. I don't know if 3 teams are coming out of that division. I lean more towards a big offseason shopping spree for a quarterback.
You like Justin Herbert's hair.
I don't really get into hair conversations, nor should you. But, I mean, I like Justin Herbert's game.
Yeah. All right. The Colts are going to the Super Bowl. I said make the playoffs. No. I watched yesterday. I'm changing it. Colts are going to the Super Bowl.
How could you dislike the coach and his strategic decisions during a game that much and then be such a homer and put them in the Super Bowl? They're not going to the Super Bowl.
Hey, again, I watched those teams yesterday. I don't know. Paul, I'm not impressed with the AFC at all. And I think the Colts have speed, and I think they've got kind of I watch Hard Knocks. It's a hallmark.
Let me be you about you for a second. Look at this guy. Kissing up to Ballard. Ballard's a nice guy, and Reich's a nice guy, and now this guy who pretends not to be in the media is picking the Colts to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't do it as well as Withrow does it. Withrow would have really nailed it.
No, but I deserve that. I deserve that because I just do. Jimmy G and the Niners are a threat in the NFC.
Well, a threat to do what? I mean, I think they're a threat to go to the playoffs and maybe win a game. I don't think they're a threat ultimately to go on the road and win at Lambeau or in Tampa or in Arizona with playoff stakes. So I think they're a mid-tier playoff team, maybe. And by the way, it's about time that they look like the team everybody thinks they are. Talk about media worship. I mean, the media loves Kyle Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan has not produced to the level of expectations for quite some time. And they're finally doing it again. George Kittle, largely thanks to George Kittle, who's just insane yesterday.
Why do you media guys crown these coaches?
It's the nature of the business. Stop lumping me in with everybody, for starters. Part of the reason is because, hell, you say it on your stuff all the time. Like, Reich is very good to Indianapolis media, it sounds like. And so they develop a pretty comfortable relationship with him, and they don't want change, and they want success for him. Meanwhile, here we have Vrabel storm out on us on Friday because we dared to ask him about a big new acquisition in Tennessee, and he told us not to ask him about him. And we continued to ask him about Zach Cunningham because we thought it was worth talking about.
That's why you're defending Vrabel. You're
I'm not defending him. I said he walked out like a big baby.
No, I'm saying you're defending him against Urban Meyer. You know, those two don't like each other. They got history, bad history.
I'd like to hear more about that. But I'd also like Urban Meyer when he loses, which he does on a weekly basis, to look a guy in the eye instead of run off like a baby.
I'll give you the last word on that right there, okay?
It's very rare. When I'm on your end of things, I never give anybody the last word.
I know, but I'm feeling generous. This has been my most fun conversation of this show that I've done for a month. This is the best. The Ravens are done if Jackson has to miss any time, any appreciable time.
I lost a lot of faith in the Ravens, even with Jackson. I mean, they're not playing particularly well. They're losing the teams that they often handle. I don't know. Last I saw, it was a sprained ankle. I imagine there'll be more that comes out about it today. But they are not steady as they usually are. That division is really quite a slugfest. Titans are going to Pittsburgh next week, and Pittsburgh has to feel like it has life with that tie at the end of its record. Maybe, ends up benefiting it instead of hurting it.
Yes.
But I was impressed that Cleveland came back to show life. They were actually favored in that game, and we were talking about why we couldn't understand why. We saw why. Mark Andrews had a heck of a game, but I think with or without Lamar, I am not a big Ravens buyer, and I was for a time. I jumped on them for Super Bowl team for a while there. They don't look like that now. They're having trouble scoring and managing games. They're just not as good. And look, you can insert a lot of teams into this. They're just not as good as it seemed like they were going to be. They certainly need him to be healthy. And I would imagine this thing's going to limit him even if he's back. So that's definitely going to be one of the big stories, intriguing stories the rest of the way here.
Who you like tonight? Who you like? It's 2.5 point spread. The 2 point.
I foolishly keep picking the Rams, and I think this is one of those games where the Rams are desperate. They saw what San Francisco did yesterday. I think they. I'm not positive they had a bye last week, but I think they just. It's kind of a now or never thing for some of these teams, and the Rams have to get on track. And I feel like, I don't know, my gut says that the Rams wake up tonight, but my gut also says that I'm relying on Matthew Stafford in a couple fantasy leagues, which I'm sure you love. So maybe that's me rooting instead of me being sensible about it.
My gut says too many ribs, beer, and cake over the weekend, Paul. That's what my gut says. Paul, hey, can I still come on your show?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to have to force myself to watch some college basketball. I'm very seasonal, Dan. I like to watch football through football season and then maybe start catching up on some of these other things. I'm not as much of a Renaissance man as you are with as much time.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at your background and I look at my background and I say to myself, who's the Renaissance man? Your background looks good. My background is made up and goes out.
I go to occasional concert, that's all, and spend too much money on a poster.
I like those, though. Paulie, you're the best. My favorite conversation I've had so far because we got after it a little bit.
Until you have the next conversation, and then that'll be your favorite conversation. I know how you work.
Yeah, it'll be the greatest one.
Great to be with you. Thanks.
I'm telling you, Outkick 360, man. Outkick is starting to rule the world. Outkick 360 is absolutely fantastic. I'm telling you, it's fantastic. I listen to it every day. I put the headphones on when I'm driving home, and I listen to Paul. And I do. I listen to Chad and Jonathan. They're great. You want to know about the NFL? That's your place, Outkick 360. And I love going back and forth. Paul's the best. All right, we're going to come back. I got a sack up that maybe I've talked about a little bit. And I've got 3 great fades for you, including one team that nobody should ever bet on. But I'm gonna when we come back. Hey, welcome back. What a day. Paulie and I getting after it. A lot of Urban Meyer talk. I'm defending my boy. Look, here's the deal with Urban. You're going to find out. I mean, I don't listen to reports. Maybe players don't like him. I hear differently, though. I know the owner likes him. You can't come into the Jacksonville Jaguars and all of a sudden think, well, this program has been god-awful for a number of years, and all of a sudden it's going to be cleaned up. And I don't understand why everybody's so down on the dude. Good dude. All right. Speaking of Urban Meyer, speaking of the world we live in, speaking of sack up, I'm going to give you a sack up. And truthfully, there's a lot that we could have gone to this weekend, but I don't get this. I'm in a meeting, sitting there. Coach comes in. This is football now. This isn't grade school. This is football. So coach must rip my ass. And next thing you know, Marvin Jones, I'm storming out of the building. I'm storming out on my teammates. Oh, okay. All right. And then Marvin Jones becomes a hero. See? Marvin Jones doesn't like him. Marvin Jones doesn't like him? And we're supposed to give a rat's ass about Marvin Jones? Like, I'm sure Marvin Jones is a good dude. I'm sure Marvin Jones' family likes him. But the dude is 31 years old. He's got 5 kids. And he's a smart guy. He's from Cal. I mean, guys like me couldn't get into Cal today, tomorrow, the next day. But it's not like Marvin Jones has been this winning dude. It's not like Marvin Jones has any understanding how to win big in the NFL. So maybe, I don't know, just maybe, playing in Cincinnati, never making the playoffs, Detroit never making the playoffs. I guess he made the playoffs a couple years. Yeah, he did. He made it 4 years. 16 with Detroit, caught a pass. Cincinnati 3, good for him. But it's not like this dude's like a Super Bowl champ. It's not like this dude, played for national championships in college. It's Marvin freaking Jones. Great career. Better career than a lot of people have. 2-year, $12.5 million contract. Good for Marvin Jones. But damn, when did sulking for men become the thing? I can't speak to women. I can speak to men. When did sulking become an acceptable thing? Marvin Jones is viewed as a hero. Well, see, Marvin Jones doesn't like Urban Meyer. Really? Oh, my God, if Marvin Jones doesn't like you, what are we going to do? I mean, my God, Marvin Jones stormed out. Hey, sack up, Marvin Jones. 31 years old, you don't know your ass from third base. All of a sudden, it's like, man, Marvin Jones is the poster child for what's wrong with Urban Meyer? Please. Zeke Elliott likes Urban Meyer. I'd say Zeke Elliott been a little more Tim Tebow-like. I mean, what are you talking about? And that's the dumbest, and I shouldn't even do those comparisons. But when you take over a franchise that is 1-16, has no understanding of nutrition and physical development, is so behind the times, what do you expect is going to happen? Yeah, they got Trevor Lawrence. The Woods is full of quarterbacks in their first year that struggle. That's why I'm telling the Bears they better hire Ryan Grigson. You just go hire Ryan Grigson. You hire Trace Armstrong, whatever you want to do, make him a whatever. But you hire Ryan Grigson as your general manager so you get a little bit of toughness in the building. See, Urban ought to hire Ryan Grigson because you want a guy that takes all the arrows for the coach. Let's be honest. You know who the commissioner of the NFL is, right? Roger Goodell. You know what he makes because everybody whines about it. He makes about $44 million. What does he make $44 million to do? Take bullets for the owners. That's it. Roger, I don't want these people on my ass. Have a press conference. Get them off our ass. That's what Urban needs. Right now, I got clowns saying, well, Urban drafted this. People got mad because he signed Tim Tebow. Who gives a rat's ass about signing Tim Tebow? But this is what happens. You get the list. He signed Tim Tebow, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Hey, look, I would sign Attila the Hun if it gave me a chance to win in the NFL because all that matters is winning. That's it. Hey, yay rah, go fight, win. Our team handed out turkeys at Thanksgiving. A wonderful gesture. Now go win. Hey, we fired a coach. Oh, that's too bad. Good guy. He didn't win enough. Who's next? That's the world that I live in. That's not the world that you live in. You live in a world that says, well, you know, Marvin Jones is mad at him. Well, you know, the players of Jacksonville. My world is, I don't give a rat's ass about the players of Jacksonville, except guys that got there this year. The other guys, they got to come along. And Marvin Jones, you don't know how to win. You know how to play. You're a really good player. Got a lot of money. Smart guy. You go to Cal, respect. But you don't know your ass from third base when it comes to real winning. So you got a guy out there that's trying to show you. You got a guy out there, and maybe, you know what? Maybe if everybody, and I know this is weird, I know this is crazy, but if everybody there just shut the living hell up and said, all right, we're going to see what the hell happens here. All right, we're going to see if this guy can coach us. Do you know how many games Tom Landry? Remember Tom Landry, Iron Jaw? He wore the hat. Greatest coach in NFL history. You know how many he won in his first year? 0. You know how many Jimmy Johnson won in his first year? 1. Don't even get me started historically on coaches in the NFL winning. Don't even get me started. When you take over absolute crap, when you take it over, in the NFL, man, you got to have a shrewd-ass general manager to get anything done. That's why Ryan Grigson is the most undervalued general manager in the history of football. I mean, people act like it's easy, right? You take a 1-16 team. You take a 1-16 team. Oh, we're just supposed to win at blank ton. Okay. All right. You're 1-16 for a reason. Players stink. Operation stinks. It's just as simple as I can make it. I'm sorry if this is defending a man. I don't care. But Marvin Jones and all you players in Jacksonville, sack the hell up. And the last thing, let me tell you what I'm doing if I'm Urban Meyer and I found out whoever leaked that stuff. I'm firing them so freaking fast their heads would spin. Like they would be out the door. And I would go to everyone else. I don't give a damn who you are. We're owing a lifetime. We're owing $1 million. We got 2 wins. I ain't having this. You see the Patriots ever leak stuff? No. What do Patriots players do? They bitch, moan, and cry when they leave. Not while they're there. Stop it. Just stop it. You don't see any great organization leaking stuff. You know what you see? 1-16 people leaking stuff. I don't blame Urban Meyer for ripping the coaches. I don't blame him for none of it. The dude won more than anybody in the history of college football in terms of winning percentage, except for maybe 1 or 2 guys. Dude knows what he's doing. Sack the hell up, Marvin Jones, and all you. Look, I have a ton of respect. I was going to say pansy football players, but I never say that because I think football players are tough on tough. I think basketball players are soft on soft, entitled on entitled. But I think football players are tough on tough. I do. I really do. You know, and I get called all kind of names, so I'm used to it. But I'm just telling you, I don't mess with football players. No. I think football players are tough. I do. All right. I'm on fire here with betting. Totally on fire, but I don't like today's slate. I'm giving you today's slate with a caveat. I will not brag if it wins, and I will not accept if it loses. I'm giving you this because this is what I think, not what I know. Today is gambling. Now, if I learn something else later in the day that can influence this, I will let you know. But as I sit here right now, today, what I'm about to give you is my best guess. That means I'm gambling. There's a difference between gambling and investing. Last week, all we did was invest. We knew the outcome before the game started. We just knew. Today, man, and I'm going to bet and I'm going to give you a team that I got to tell you, there isn't one person in the history of the world, not one, and I'm being sincere here, there isn't one that ever bet on Chicago State. If you look at the history of Chicago State is the worst basketball program in the history of the world, and I'm not exaggerating. I don't know, if you know where it is, there's like chain link fence around it. They built a really nice gym for some reason, but it is awful. I was going to bet Chicago State -1 against Northern Illinois, but I decided I can't bet on Chicago State, so I'm going to give you Northern Illinois +1. I don't like any of it. I don't like it. You might as well take the money line. It's a 1 o'clock game. So for a degenerate like me, you want something to do while you're doing a show, right? So there you go. I'm going to take Northern Illinois, who, by the way, beat Washington early in the year and then has been getting their ass kicked since. But I'm going to take... Why even bet it? Don't do it. Don't even do it. But I'm going to take I'm going to take Northern Illinois. They got a good player that can score a bunch of points. All right, tonight, the Cardinals. Monday Night Football. Coming to you live from Glendale, Arizona. The Cardinals, -2 against the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams, a storied franchise, not only in LA, but of course in St. Louis. The Rams. I don't know if that was a combination. I don't know who that was. Howard Cosell. Look him up. I'm going -2 because I believe in the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to win tonight, but I also agree with Paul Kuharsky when I say this. There's going to be a time, I feel like, because of talent, there's going to be a time where the Rams decide, all right, we're just going to start doing what the Rams should start doing, and that's whooping ass. That time can come because the Rams have enough ability, skill, athletic ability, talent. The Bears, it don't matter if the Bears or the Jaguars or any, decide we're going to start whooping ass. They don't have enough ability. The Rams do. I'm going to stick with under a field goal tonight. I'm going to take the home team. I am a absolute unabashed fan of Rondale Moore and Kyler Murray. DeAndre Hopkins I like, but he crapped up a hotel room here at the Combine when he was in college. He and another guy from Rutgers. I don't know what they did on the walls, but there was like $10,000 damage because there was crap. We call him the Mad Crapper in Indianapolis. Combine was in Indy where he crapped. You can look it up if you'd like. But I'm going to take him. To hedge my bet and to have something that I'm actually rooting for, I'm going to take the over 51. 28-24 seems reasonable in this game. You know what I mean? I know the Rams have Aaron Donald. I do. But if you can escape Aaron Donald, a lot of you are in love with Jalen Ramsey. I don't blame you for being in love with Jalen Ramsey as a skilled guy. But I sat behind Jalen Ramsey, 6th row, right behind the visitors' bench when he was with the Jaguars. And all he did was bitch, whine, and moan as a young player. Maybe he's grown up, I don't know. But I saw something last week. If, and this is a big if Kyler Murray and the Cardinals can get going early and complete some balls, if I were coaching the Cardinals, I'd throw at Jalen Ramsey early and then let him bitch, whine, and moan and destroy his defense, and I'd go get 35. I'm going to take the over in this game. If you'd like to parlay it, that's up to you. But I will not bet on Chicago State, so I'm taking Northern Illinois. I really do. I really like the Arizona Cardinals. I don't love them in this game, but I'm going to give the 2. Anything under a field goal, I feel okay with. And then, of course, we're going over 51. I got to look up Monday night games. I don't think Monday night games score that much. I could be wrong. All right, last thing before I let you go. We always try to recreate, right? Like, who's going to be the next Manning cast? Tiki and Rondé? I don't know. That would be my guess. We're always trying to recreate something, right? So what? In the middle of the pandemic, it was called The Last Dance. It was footage from Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Phil Jackson, Steve Kerr, that entire cruise last year together that had been just kind of left in a closet. Very smart by everybody involved. They got the footage out. They interviewed Jordan. They interviewed people. It was fantastic. It got us through. I think it was on Sundays. It was good. Okay. Well, now we've got winning time. The dynasty, the rise of the Lakers dynasty. Now, here's my question, and I don't know whether this is true or not. Is Magic Johnson involved in this? It's an HBO special, which I like. If Magic Johnson is involved in this, and this doesn't come from me, this comes from the head of Universal Studios, then it's a shit show. I'm just telling you. Magic Johnson, if he brings projects to studios, it's a shit show. If LeBron James brings projects to studios, as the guy told me as he was giving my wife, myself, the great Bart Fox a tour, he said if LeBron brings it, it is organized, down to the detail, professionally done, we listen. If Magic brings it, they're like, I don't know if Magic's involved in this. But I did see it's one of those things where I could be wrong about this, but it's a series. I'm not wrong about this. It's a series. It's not just a show. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because I am one of the few people in the state of Indiana that loved Magic Johnson more so than Larry Bird. Everybody here in Indiana, Larry Bird. I love me some Larry Bird. Larry Bird. Bobby shouldn't have let Larry go. Whatever. Larry Bird had gone to Indiana. Night, when the player comes to Indiana, refuses to talk to you until you get older. It's a whole ridiculous thing, okay? Bird leaves Indiana. Next thing you know, 1979, Bird and Magic playing the NCAA championship game. Magic wins. They go in the league together. Magic wins a title the next year. Bird and Magic go back and forth. That's the history. But in Indiana, everybody liked Larry Bird. I didn't know Larry Bird's story. I was from northern Indiana. I was from outside Chicago. I didn't give a rat's ass about Larry Bird. I like Magic Johnson. Still like Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson's a really good dude. Bird's a really good dude. Everybody's a good dude. So I'm looking forward to watching this. I am going to watch this. But if it gets cheesy, then I'm not going to watch. I like the real stuff. I like Carmen Electra, with Dennis Rodman and what looks like a harem somewhere. I like real. I don't like Ross Geller playing Kardashians in movies. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. So if this thing is real, I will watch. I love the Lakers. I loved everything about it. I got a chance to meet, he wouldn't remember, I do, Byron Scott. Great dude. I love Michael Cooper's high socks. I love Magic Johnson's addition to the game. I couldn't stand Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he was with the Milwaukee Bucks because every time I watched his hook shot, it went in against my Chicago Bulls in the playoffs. It was awful. But I learned to really like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his goggles. I did. I liked everything about those Lakers. They were fun. They got up and down the floor. I always rooted for the Lakers over the Celtics. So I am really looking forward to watching this. And I hope you do too. I have no stake in it. I just hope we like watching it, and then we talk about it on this show. See, here's my deal. Sunday night, I've said this before, I will say this again. Sunday night has emerged as the greatest night of television ever. Don't tell me about Thursday night with Seinfeld and Friends. I only watched those after the fact. I was too busy. I was in college, getting it done with the overbite even back then. But anyway, Sunday night gives me Curb Your Enthusiasm, Succession, Yellowstone, and Monday Night Football. Now, I don't know when this series is going to be, but I hope it's Sunday night. Why? Because I don't really watch all that Sunday night. I watch football, and then Monday, oh, baby. I get out the bonbons. I'd make a decision. Is it going to be wine? Is it going to be root beer? I don't know. It's a game time decision. Maybe some white cheddar popcorn, and I binge from about 5 o'clock when it gets dark until whatever time it is to go to bed, which for me can be anywhere from 9 at night until 3 in the morning. So I hope winning time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty, is worth us watching. And when I say us, this is a family here. All right. As always, and I mean always, a special thanks, Donnie and Jesse and Lauren and Stephanie. Hope you guys don't understand. These folks put the whole thing together. If you want to listen to more of my antics, I got another show coming up today. It's at noon. It's on 107.5. You know, I worked for Bobby Knight 100 years ago. This is Dolores tweeting me. What do you have to say about Coach Sampson's actions, assistant coach and players throwing trash, breaking chairs? I heard nothing from you about that, Dan. Guess you were used to Bobby Knight's antics and approve of those actions. You were so quick to criticize Nate Oats. Yeah, I was quick. I criticized Nate Oats. Dan, I'll never forget. It's from Tanner. When you name searched yourself during a commercial break, made sure nobody was saying anything bad about him. Tanner Shaw. He mad. He Alabama fan. Yeah. One thing I learned about Alabama and their fans, two things about the men. The men, hey Dan, laugh out loud. Meathead contrarians, stick together. You like the low lip? Yeah. Jacob Schumacher, he says, who the hell gave Dakich his Twitter account back? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah. Guy from Maryland says, glad to see you focused on calling something other than Terps games. Do Terps fans a favor. Stop putting them on your schedule. Terp fans are idiots. I don't even have a schedule. Guy reacted to Paul Kuharski and me. Chris Morgan said, I love Dakich, but he needs someone to call him on his BS. That was entertaining stuff. You guys should do 4 hours together. I got a guy named Dave Pellegrino. He mad. He been calling me an asshole all day. Some guy named Rico Bosco, one of them damn barstool guys, called me a crazy person. Justin Armstrong, you know what he said to me? He said, Dakich, you're a punk. Critiquing someone for waiting on a post-game handshake. You're a punk. Some things to be done. I don't know, I'm a punk. I'm just a damn punk. I'm a punk. Yeah, I'm a punk. Yeah. Yeah. Matt Pitt got his Alabama clothes on. He got the clothes on. Dakich, he at least didn't hit a player in the face or throw a chair across the court. Did you see how most of the Houston team and coaches trashed the place like sore losing titty babies is what he said. Cover the whole story next time, Dakich. I'll do that, Matt Penn. I'll cover the whole story next time because, hell, I insulted Alabama. Have a good day, everybody. I'm at Dan Dakich. If you want to rip my ass, by God, rip my ass. I'm man enough, I can take it. Have a great afternoon. You want to catch me? I'm on 107.5 The Fan at 12 till 3 Eastern. Have a good day.